cut pieces of it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and do a little introduction. The purpose of this interview is to familiarize myself. Again, let me first start. My name is Leticia Garza, and I am a candidate for the superintendent certification. I am here accompanied by Ms. Nina Conway, the Chief Financial Officer of Robstown ISD. Um, and again, the brief introduction of those in attendance. I'm an assistant principal at Robstown Early College High School, and I'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself a little bit.
Okay. Nina Conway. I have 29 years of experience with school finance, and mainly in the area of budget and bonds.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Conway. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and ask one of the questions. It says, summarize the budget preparation process in this district. Include the timeline and describe the staff who are included in the process and how they are expected to participate in the process.
Okay. When I meet with brand new principals, this is kind of a whole packet that I put together for them because most of y'all are visual.
I agree.
So the very first thing we do in January 23rd, this is the 1920 budget calendar.
Okay, so you start from January.
Yes.
Okay.
And the board has to approve this calendar. That's step one.
And is there a deadline to approve the calendar?
Well, before the budget process starts. So last year, January 23rd, we had a board meeting and they approved this calendar. And according to the calendar, the week of the 4th, I send out all the budget worksheets. So every campus gets a budget worksheet, and that worksheet just says, here's your budget from last year, how much you spent year to date, and here's the new column blank where they're expected to put in the new dollar amount. So that goes out on February the 4th. On March the 1st, budgets are due back into the business office. On March the 8th, we want all new staff or additional days reclasses due to the deputy superintendent office by March the 8th. But just before that, I get with all the principals on my projections of students. We can't figure out how many teachers we need if we don't know how many students we're going to have. So this is basically old information from 2011-12, and I just bring those numbers forward.
So they can look at the patterns.
Yes, and of course they know more about their actual students, who's going to be retained, who's coming in. So mine are just very analytical. I take those kids from the 7th grade and drop them into the 8th grade. If we usually have a 0.5% increase historically, then I add in that. And it's been spot on for the last, 20 years that I've been doing this. Okay, so then again, that determines how many staff we need in order to teach these kids, because everything is generated by kids. That's why we're here. So how many counselors we have is predicated on how many kids are going to be, at each campus. How many assistant principals? Obviously, we need one principal for every campus. How many teachers? How many special ed teachers? All that is predicated based on what we anticipate our students' enrollment to be. And then January the 22nd, we go to Executive Council, which is the Deputy Superintendent, the Associate Superintendent, Dr. Moreno, and myself, and we go over the staffing patterns. The campuses have turned in what they want, so we look at that and decide whether we can afford it or not. Then on April the 5th, campus budgets and special requests are due in the business office. The 13th, we send draft 1 to the board. Draft 2, June 10th. Draft 3, if necessary, would be in July, and then we approve it on August the 12th. So requirements for that is we have to post the proposed budget, and this, I'm giving you a copy of it. This is the proposed budget, and we have to compare it to actual from 18-19. It's got to be in the paper. It's also got to be on our website. So that's that. And then 10 to 30 days prior to adopting the budget, I have to put in the paper this document. It's very specific as to the number of fonts to use, and I mean, it's very specific. So that is that. And then I just gave you, for your information, to me, the best thing I can tell administrators is always look at board policy first. Because board policy, there's two sections. There's legal, which basically is the legal requirement, and then local. Local is we can kind of tweak legal to, for us. You can't change legal. So I gave you the actual budget requirements as through legal. The timelines and when this is due in the paper and those kind of things. The budget has to be prepared or caused to be prepared by the superintendent. He causes me to prepare it on or before August the 20th. So, and that's pretty much the legal requirements.
Thank you so much. Wow, and I can keep a copy of this,
This
right?
is all yours.
Thank
Yes.
you so much. I do appreciate it. It's very detailed. I knew that there was a lengthy process for it, but I wasn't fully aware to the detail of it, and so that's very informative. I appreciate the timeline and everything for it.
Well, anytime you have a question, it is so easy to go to board policy and search. I've been doing this almost 30 years. I remember back in the day where we had great big books. They were blue paper, and we had to go through that to figure out what board policy. Well, nobody did, because you just didn't. It was just too cumbersome, and we didn't even know if what we were looking for would be in there. Now it's searchable and really easy to access.
PDF and
Yeah.
POS. Okay, thank you so much. So the most recent approved district budget includes a plan to spend. Is there
$22.8 million.
22?
Oh, I'm sorry. What number are you on?
Yeah, number 4.
Okay.
So, is there anything unique or unusual about this budget in comparison to budgets for this district in the past 5 years? For example, one-time expenditures, significant increases or decreases in specific lines of the budget, new programs, departments, or buildings reflected in the budget, elimination of programs, departments, or buildings reflected in the budget, additional personnel included in the budget, or reduction of personnel included in this budget.
House Bill 3, which was of the 86 legislation, required that we reduce property tax on all of our local taxpayers. In addition, they gave us more state funding. So the net effect of that for our district was about $1.5 million. We were required then to give out 30% of that, at least 30% of that, for teachers, librarians, and counselors. We elected as a district to give all of the money out in salaries because we want to be more competitive in the area. In order to compete with Calallen and Tolosa Midway, they're getting all of our teachers. We had to raise our salaries. So we used all of the net additional income of $1.5 million for salary increases.
Yes, and that was a very big positive for the teachers and stuff. And I know that it has the information's been coming down a little bit slow and stuff. So
yes, they continue. We're supposed to have like 3 more podcasts. I mean, we're still not sure how TEA is going to decipher some of that. But also included in your packet is number 4. This is the adopted budget. I'm also required to post this on our website.
It is. I've seen it.
And this basically talks about the legislative session. But I think the question was, how much is our budget? $35.7 million. And that's INS, which is interest and sinking. That's how we pay our bond indebtedness. Cafeteria, I'm trying to think of the other one, athletics, and then the general fund. That's the only board-approved funds. The rest of them are all federal funds. The feds approve that. But these are the ones that the board actually has to approve.
And how much did you say again?
$35.6 million.
$35.6 million. Wow. Okay. I have reviewed the current budget, and I'm sorry.
Okay.
I guess. Let me go ahead and. reviewed the current budget, right?
Yes.
And you calculated personnel costs in the budget. Do you know what percent is for personnel?
Yes. Of the $35.7 million, $22.8 million is personnel, which is about 64%.
Okay.
Of all those funds that the board is required to approve. However,
So it's about 2/3 of the revenue that's coming in. 2/3 goes to paying staff.
right, but I pulled out INS because that's taxpayers pay us and we write, the check to the bondholders. So if not including INS, we would be at 74%, which is still very efficient. Most districts are at 80 to 82%.
Yeah, because I've done some comparison from previous years, and I think it always sits around 72 to 75% for the comparisons of the previous, using the different paper reports that are out there. And so I'm like, wow, it's very surprising to me to see that 2/3 to 3/4 of the revenue is dedicated just on paying salaries. So
We're people oriented, very people oriented. We don't sell anything. So, we are kind of a manufacturing company. We manufacture the education of children.
services.
Yes, but it's all service driven, so that's why our payroll costs are so high.
Would you agree? Sorry. And so again, like we spoke, as we mentioned before, that the bulk of the money is committed to personnel costs. If you had any suggestions, what would you suggest to be able to reduce the percentage of the budget dedicated to paying personnel?
I think we're tight right now, again, because it's only 64%. If we try to cut teachers, that's going to affect the classroom. So I wouldn't go below 64%. I think we're very efficient in our staffing.
And yes, you have mentioned that considering other districts, the efficiency here is very positive. What is the current tax rate in our district?
$5.683, which, and you get this too, M&O is 1.0683, and our INS, again, that's to pay off our debt. We borrowed money from bondholders to build the high school. So now we have that debt that we have to pay off every year. That's 50 cents. However, this is an almost 11 cent reduction because of House Bill 3. They required that we lower our property our property tax, and then paid us, the state kicked in the proceeds. So we cut our rate from $1.665 to $5.683.
And how does that compare to other districts?
Because we did a tax ratification election, I think it was like 2014, we were at $1.17, so that's the highest you can go. But most of the area districts also did that.
So our comparable?
Our rate is high because of INS. We're at the max for INS as well.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. What entity would represent the largest taxpayer in our district?
Well, it's twofold. Right now, Walmart is. However,
Walmart?
yes.
Wow, that's interesting because it's kind of in the middle between Calallen and Ralph South.
But Permico is coming on a
Okay.
313 agreement, and because of them, our assessed value is going to triple in the next 6 years, which is awesome for us. We're going to get a lot of funding because of that. They will be the number one. Obviously, since
because I've been reading that
they're going to be $1 billion by themselves. Right
Okay.
now, we're right at $600 million, our assessed value. They're going to add $1 billion to that.
So how would that impact us in regards to
M&O? As far as the tax rate, they're going to be abated, which means they don't really have to pay property tax. However, it all goes to the state comptroller, and the state comptroller makes sure this is good for the economy, because they have to also kick in money. But they're going to pay us $8.4 million in the first year, and then 2 more checks before the 7-year period is over of another $8 million. So It's good for the district, really good for the district. And on the INS side, they're not abated. So if we got if we got a 50-cent tax rate right now, and we're going to triple, then obviously we could reduce our tax rate down to 20 so cents. However, we don't want to do that. What we'd rather do is we're doing a big long-term study of what the district needs, adding wings to the elementaries and those kind of things. That way we can go to the voters and say, before Permaco is finished, we can do a bunch of new bonds, and it's not going to cost the taxpayers any money. Basically, Permaco is going to pay it because of their new values. So their rate will lower, and we can really do some great improvements to the district-wide.
That is awesome. That's a sweet deal. Thank you so much for that and enlightening information.
You missed number 7. How much revenue does the district generate with 1 cent? Because we're right at $600 million, 1 cent is about $60,000.
60,000?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. And what does that mean?
For every penny of tax rate, we collect $60,000.
Oh wow, that is awesome.
Of course, that's going to grow with Permaco coming.
So, and I was looking at the comptroller, because I was trying to gather some of the information to try to understand a little bit. I don't have your background, but I do love numbers. My degree's in math actually, and so trying to understand the entire budget process and stuff. But I think this is helping me so much to kind of put things into perspective. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. And we're looking at what local, geographic, or economic factors have a significant impact on our district's budget.
Again, that new liquid gas plant on FM 1694 Permaco. It's going to significantly impact our district in a very positive way. We're going to get new cash of about $16 million in the district in the M&O side, and then again we can reduce our tax rate on the INS side.
And this is within the next
6 years.
6 years.
They're supposed to start, and I know they have started because I checked with